And I am today in Prison Architect, its official release, creating a new prison. Now, I have owned this game for a while, and I have been very much interestedly playing over the past few years. And so this is kind of like a fruition of many things for me. This is the culmination of quite a bit. I've taken part in quite a few early access projects, and I find it very rewarding. Space Engineers, Kerbal Space Program, Prison Architect, and a few others that I find very promising, that have a lot of potential. And sometimes these early access games are more stable and more entertaining and better thought out than some full release games. And they are themselves now hitting that full release stage. They're hitting the stage running with predators who are throwing themselves on the market, as it were, full of glitches and problems and issues. And a lot of these early access programs, when they're hitting early release and they're going, okay, we're going to ramp up to 1.0, they're just hitting such a huge market with the early release that they kind of soak up a lot of their market when they do early release, and so people just end up buying it early and then waiting for it to finish, begin playing it. I know there's a lot of people that do that. I've been playing things like Space Engineers since, for forever. I've got over 500 hours in that game, and I've got about, I want to say it, 20 or so in like Factorio and this one and a couple of others that are good, that I've played a lot of, but I tend to, choose to play other things temporarily. I'm going to generate lakes, generate buildings, other things. I don't want unlimited funds. Anyway, so a lot of these early access games have the advantage of early community feedback, whereas a lot of AAA releases, they think something's going to be awesome, they think something's going to be amazing, that there's no possible way there could be an issue that could break their game. Like, they've done internal play testing, and it's like, well, everything we do says it's fine. Well, it hits the open market and is just destroyed, just absolutely destroyed, because they get feedback from hundreds of thousands of people who buy it and go, well, it's actually shit because your 12 playtesters were too small a selection group to accurately represent a large majority of the gaming populace. Now, some of them will have, maybe one or two guys in the team that they have doing their internal playtesting will be, oh, well, this is really a bad idea, you should fix this. And that one voice will be drowned out among the 11 others that will go, oh, well, it's fine. I never did that. I never ran into that bug. It's not a problem. When they hit open release and that one person becomes, 2,000 or 3,000 people screaming at a studio because your fucking game doesn't run on my hardware. I can't play it. I paid money for this and I want my money back. It becomes a huge problem on launch day. Or, oh, well, we're not going to support this one piece of hardware that we don't think is important. Well, little do you know, you've released a product and something like 17% of your consumer base has that piece of hardware, or depends on that piece of hardware for their system to work, or that piece of software for their system to operate properly. And suddenly they've got a chunk of their population, their gamer base, that can't run or can't use that game to either to its full potential or at all. And so they go, fuck. there's a chunk of our population that just can't use our product. Why didn't we see this coming? Well, you did. You chose not to support or to fix that issue early on in testing because, it was just one product tester. It was just one early game tester that had that issue. And so we chose to overlook it because we didn't think it would be a big deal. Well, when you do a mass market release, like these early access programs, and you look at it and you go, okay, we're going to let everybody have our fucking code. The whole world. Anybody who's going to pay $5 can play our game. Now, you put it out there with the cravat of, this is early access, it's nowhere near fucking done. We have no clue how this is going to work out. None. So, we're throwing it out there, it kind of works. This is the hardware that it kind of works on. If you don't have that, I'm sorry, you're screwed, because we're nowhere near ready yet. And so that lets them announce what does work for what hardware they have supported and what hardware they're working on, and they can go, I'm sorry, we just don't have Linux support, or I'm sorry, we only run on Linux, because that's what we're coding it in. We're coding it on a Linux system and we're coding it for Linux. Sorry, if you don't have a Linux system, this game isn't going to work for you. Well, that's not the case when you do early access, because then you can go, okay, we've got this, it runs in this programming environment, this is what is available for this game. Like Prison Architect, it had a very early open, and one of the things they talked about is during the early access phase, they're like, hey, guess what? We've secretly been in the background programming away, have added mobile tablet support, so you can play your Prison Architect on your tablet now. Kind of, sort of. Maybe next month. That's kind of how they did it. It's like, hey, we're working on it. Kind of, sort of. And we might have results for you soon-ish. But that is seen as more of a bonus rather than something that was advertised from the start. Like, if they had released the month after that, and advertising on tablets, available on tablets, had been part of their, key advertising, and it was actually a buggy, half-implemented, thing that's like, hey, it works on tablets, but only kinda. Anyone who bought it for tablets would have been really cheesed off, because they would have looked at the advertising and gone, they said they had it on tablets. Well, they do, but it's only working kind of. And it's got a lot of problems that they're still ironing out. That's a problem with AAAs, where they go, okay, we're going to market for everything, and the marketing departments are going to throw everything to the wind, and they're going to go, we're going to be the biggest and best ever, and we're going to be the greatest, and they throw hundreds of thousands of dollars in marketing every single aspect and feature and possible bit that they can drag out of the product, because that's marketing's job. They take every single feature and they try and push it to the largest audience possible. Now, when you do that with a game that's only just now touching large release public, you can run into things where, hey, this is a feature that the game dev said was in, but the marketing department's taken it and run with it, and the game dev kind of goes, oh, fuck. Okay, I only kind of just put that in before you were going to start release. I only did that last week, and the code isn't really the best. It's not really optimized, so it doesn't run really well on that particular thing. Like Max? No, that's not going to work. I really didn't code the Mac script really, really well. This is going to be bad. So people end up buying the Mac version of a AAA game and go, oh, well, this runs like shit. Well, yeah, because the developer and the coder hit that end of game cycle crunch where they're going, hey, we're porting it to Mac and doing a bunch of other things that are important when you're trying to move a title forward, and then they hit that deadline and it's a, hey, whatever you were doing is unimportant. Work on maximum audience bugs right now. But if I don't do this, Mac users are going to be pissed. Well, if we don't do this and fix these bugs, all users are going to be pissed. And so the smaller marketing bugs, the smaller marketing problems get left in there right at the end because they're running out of time. There's simply no more time. The developer's gone, great, we're ready to run. A flyby of a main admin takes a 2-second look at the game and goes, great, it's done. You're done. We don't have any more time to pay you more to finish more of it. It looks like it's done. Ship it. And then the company that's making it goes, fuck, can we get another week, maybe, please? We had, another 3 months planned out of development to, fix issues. And then the company goes, no, you're done. It's working. You're done. And so they get screwed of, fuck, we've got a week to make this playable or our studio's reputation will be forever in the toilet. Forever. Bad games haunt studios forever. Lead designers on projects that failed horribly get followed around by people who bought their product and went, nah, dude, you knowingly let them take that product out the door. I bought it. I paid for that product that you helped make that's shit. Why? Well, because the publisher said, you're done, ship it. That's why. The publishing house will set a release date. Sometimes they'll listen to the developers. Sometimes the release date will be pushed back. That's a good thing. That is a good thing. I would rather wait a little bit longer for the release and have it fucking ready and have it done. If they're going to do a AAA studio and not let you touch it until it's perfect, then they damn well better make sure it's perfect. If you're going to release it in early access, you're saying, hey, here's the thing, it's not done, it's got problems. Please take it with a grain of salt. We've got a lot of heart in this, and we're trying to make it work. And there's stuff we're pushing forward to make it work. 1.0, here with Prison Architect, one of the internet holdups of how to do early access the right way. They stumbled at first, they found their feet, and they went, you know what, we got a plan, we're going to figure this out. We're going to do this the right way. We're going to keep everybody who bought the game informed about what's going on, about what we're doing. We're going to give them a roadmap for development, what we have planned in the future. There are very few of the major studios that do this kind of thing. There's a couple of them that do it. Landmark is one of those other companies that's doing this really well, where they have full community interaction. They've got a full posted roadmap of, hey, here's what we're working on right now, and here's what we might be working on next month. Bam. That's something that has a lot of crisp potential. That's something that picked up how people were reacting to early access and went, hey, we're going to take that, we're going to embrace it, we're going to pull it to heart and go, hey, we're listening, we're taking that feedback, we're throwing our software out there and going, hey, here's what we've got right now. Does it work? Does it feel right? Is it a game? Now, that's something that you can only do so many times to a consumer base before they start going, nah, you should have it figured out now. Come on. That's one of the reasons you're seeing the early access game hump has been breached. There are a lot of early access games that are throwing themselves at people going, it's just like this, but with this twist. And people go, I've already got that game. I don't want to early access that game again, but slightly different. I've played Factorio. I don't want to play Factorio again, but slightly different, except with warthogs. I don't want to play another Prison Architect, only with, monkeys instead of prisoners. On the outside, that doesn't sound like that bad an idea, but I don't want to pay for the early access experience for Prison Architect all over again, except with monkeys. So you see that hump of early access games is really burst. It's popped, and it's left in its wake behind the bursting of the early access bubble has been left some true gems surrounded by a pile of shit. Kerbal Space Program, Prison Architect, Space Engineers, which has yet to see a 1.0 release, but it's on its way. these products, these gems in the rough, were released out into the wild, and now they have burst out into the world and have released themselves in their full envisioned state. And by God, they are diamonds. Anyone who touches Kerbal Space Program goes, huh, this is cool. If they play it for more than an hour, they're going, this is amazing. Don't know why I didn't play this sooner. The same can be said for Prison Architect. Okay? I have sunk many hours into this. I know we're just staring at a menu. I'm sorry, that's my fault. I'm just very pumped about this, because this is something we've been waiting for a while. Because they've hinted at this feature in particular. Because they've been talking about the Wardens for a while. It's on the whole support, early access support, where you could pick one. I was going to buy one, but they sold like that. Like, snap my fingers, they were gone. Ooh. Huh. These are very interesting. Never really... Ooh. Oh! Okay, that's interesting. Make money from contraband, huh? I don't think I'll make money from contraband. That's a horrible example. Make sure the more easily controlled prisoners end up his way. Huh. I'll just take the standard warden for now. I might pick someone else later, but I'm just gonna go for the overall average experience now. Yeah, small prison, fog of war, generates forests, lakes, buildings, failure conditions, gangs, and events. This is the full, I believe they would call this the full, as it was intended, play experience for Prison Architect. Okay, I can see already half of my terrain space is taken up by a lake, and now see, a lot of people would say that note page, what? Well, that's interesting. Aha! Extras! Things I did not know were in the game. Ah! Haha! Secrets and things. Alright, so, first thing I'm going to do, plan out my prison area. Now, seeing as this is a very unique shape for this area, I'm actually going to put most of the prison facilities up here, in the middle here. Now, down here, I am thinking of putting my office spaces kind of off to the side next to the lake here. Okay, I know each office needs to be a 4x4 space. I think you need something like, what is it? Warden, accountant, lawyer, chief, foreman, psychologist. So 6 offices in total, so I can plan out where those are going to go in a productive way. 4x4. This is why I'm planning. See, the garbage is right there, so I have to move all of that over one. Now, I'm racking up up a little bit of extra cash here in cash flow. That's not a bad thing. Not a bad thing at all. Getting some extra cash before this all kicks off is always good. Now, that is all 6 minimum offices right there. Now, the idea here is that I'm going to put road gates between the areas here. So prisoners will be able to get in here, but they'll still be in a controlled area. So say a prisoner is going to the psychologist's office, which is a thing, for treatment, will be able to get there. They'll just have to go through a highly secured area there and back again, which means they'll be heavily guarded. Bolt on. Leave room for a high security fence along the outside. Road gate. Now, the best way to do most of this is to plan it out as best you can while there are no prisoners in prison, because workers can move around much more freely. I will take the basic detention center contract and an administration center contract. These are what's going to get me some extra cash. Hire a warden, unlock finance. Fire the warden. I need to finish at least one cell. Not cell, but pre-plan out my office location. Much like Russian nesting dolls. By nesting the offices like this, you waste less space and continue to have these offices secured inside the secure area. So whatever office ends up being the psychologist's office or the warden's office, they're in a controlled environment, still behind the gate, still requiring active security to get into and out of. I'm going to move. I can't get the garbage. There it is. Garbage deliveries up there. They're a lot closer together, but I have any garbage piling up in front of my nice offices. Now, back to planning. So, if that's the edge of my building here, 5 structures to start here. Let's go with a 3-wide hallway. Handle initial traffic income. These rooms may or may not be repurposed later, but they will serve some basic purposes at first. This will be the entry area. From here you'll be able to get around to the various bits of the prison. See how the interior wall only leaves that such a small space there? I am going to have to actually move that out. Just a little. That is a 4-wide hallway. Probably a better idea. Rooms, reception. Yep, I can probably do that right in there. Already look familiar, shouldn't they? They look like those prison cell setups, but for larger rooms. For instance, holding cell. No foundation. Alley. Large door. Utilities. We're going to have these right out here, right next to the primary office. Seeing as this is still going to be a controlled area, I'm going to need more fencing. Bet you can guess what I'm going to put in there. You'd be right. VR. Get that right? I believe I got that right. Okay, now we can start on the rooms proper. Holding cell. Canteen. Kitchen. Let's have the canteen. discourage unpleasant behavior, I'm going to give them some comfort amenities in here. But things might go a little bit easier on the first few prisoners we have here. Canteen, so that they don't feel like eating. I'm going to have the code-required sprinklers. Metal detector there. Table. Benches. Serving table. I better finish that office so I can get the rest of that drink too. You never find office. There is an office. Another office. The accountant. As soon as the warden sets up shop, he will be able to begin his research. Already planned out. In the canteen. Even they get it. Oh, nice and relaxing. Chef needs. I've been a dishwasher, so I know. You need a freaking drain in here in case the sink stops up, overflows, or something goes wrong, or you have to flush out the room. You need a drain. There has to be a drain somewhere. Anyway, as long as it's in the room. Now, things should be starting to kick online today. Yep, 2 hours left. Hire ourselves a guard here. 2 guards. 2 cooks. Still need a shower. That's going to be a new structure, unfortunately. That should work just fine for now. Yep, that'll work. Rebuild those walls, but it'll be okay. That's stressing. You aren't connected. To let them look out into the free world. Anyway, sorry. Just trying to think about. I know I want the next set of cells and canteen proper to be over here somewhere, but I just don't know where. So first order of business is this small canteen will feed a small number of prisoners. I'm going to need a much larger canteen to feed a larger number of prisoners. So, administration center is just finished, so if I hire an accountant, that finished. More money. So, cell block A, raise your prisoner capacity to 15. At least 5 cells. Table, common pool table, TUT, 5 phone booths. 2 phone booths. Maintenance. I won't have that one for a while. 15 prisoners. No. I need to feed them, though. Okay, I need to hurry. Let's pause the game. Start planning. Okay, so if I'm gonna have 15 permanent prisoners, then I'm going to need the space to feed 15 prisoners at a time. So that means I need a big enough room to feed 15 of these guys. Okay. Eight. 3x4 space. So let's just say I put the canteen over here. What if that... At least move some free space down here. There's already a wall there. I'll convert it to concrete. Later. Okay, so that's new canteen. 8, 16, 16. That's a lot. That is quite a lot. Oh, maybe that's big enough for a while. Think that'll do. Now, the other thing is, if I've got that many tables, conceivably end up feeding that many at a time. That serving table is 5 wide. Ooh, I'd end up using that wall. Okay, so cooker, fridge, cooker, fridge, sink, right? No, sink is only 3 left. Okay. Cooker, fridge, fridge. No. So I'm going to continue out that wall. That direction. Okay. That is a rough idea of how far that's going to go. Canteen needs at least 2 wide by the table so they can run without killing each other. 4 tables. Entrance to the room. There. Actually, no. I'm going to have that be the main thoroughfare up here. This large passage will go all the way down here, and this is where the main part of the traction of my prison will be. The main movement will be through the hub hallway up here. That's where it's got to be. Can't keep pushing them through here, so there's got to be gonna have to be, that yard's gonna have to be moved here somewhere, closer to the cells, because it takes them, they have to get out of their cells and walk all the way down here to get to the yard. That's a long walk. I'm probably gonna end up removing some of the doors. Kitchen accent here. No. Okay, I'll know I'll need the cleaning cupboard later. Cleaning cupboard. Right next to the kitchen because that would need cleaning the most. Cleaning cupboard. Five size is 3 by 3. Okay, so that means that kitchen access. There we go. That gives me my limits. If I do this, sink. Cooker, fridge, sink, cooker, fridge, sink, cooker, fridge, sink, cooker, fridge. That will give me what I need. I can eventually cap it off. Sink. One more. Okay, so that can end right there. There's room space there. Storage there. They'll be taking deliveries and putting it in. That works. Yes, there we go. That's a plan. So they won't have to run far to get supplies for cooking with. That's my ticket right there. That's it. So with that, I need at least that much more walls this side to be even. Got the chapel, this open space here. Restructure this later into another room of some kind, keeping my hallway connected. It does need to continue on because that's going to be the main access hallway. What I need to start planning now is the cells. Just a few cells. Okay, that does reach an even number. 3, 8. There are my walls. Oh, I think I did it instinctively here. Just enough space for a cell block. Oh, we know 7 plus 7 is 14, so we go 8, 16. 16 prisoners, one above the 15 I'm aiming for. Oh, I can't do it until that's done. Okay. So let's wait until that is all finished, and then we will begin construction of the next area. That canteen is big enough. That kitchen and cantina should be big enough to support the next set of objectives, which as soon as you finish this, next I believe cell block is 50, if I remember correctly, which would be, that's 16. have a lot of things to think about here, a lot of things to change, a lot of planning to do. Most of this is going to be pretty mundane. Looking for something at the moment. I will go ahead and take Cell Block A. Do a short-term investment. The bureaucracy tab. I will micromanagement, security, technology, health, maintenance, education, all at once. You are going to be a very busy warden for a long time. So, as you can see, we've been running here, and that is a sizable amount of money. Very, very nice. That should be more than enough to get everything up and running. So, without further ado, mantle. Now I'll have that door in backlog. Alright, so next we have, we're going to eliminate that whole wall and make those windows pointless. Let's go ahead and dismantle them. Foundation, concrete. This large area. build that wall, unfortunately. Okay, it's getting a little silly. I'm going to turn off intake for now until we get some more cell blocks up and running. Just can't handle any more prisoners. That holding cell won't keep them happy for long. Okay. Now, time to get some serious build on. These guys are not going to stay happy for long if I do not get them some chow. Places to live. Toronto. Next up we have the beds, the places of resting. That is a risky move right there. They've got a box door there. Got a number of doors between them and an exit, so I should be fine. I don't think that will be anything that will come back to bite me. Actually, I will go. Oh no, I want them to be able to come in and go easily without needing huge amounts of guards. Lock and unlock every single door. Done installing all of the pieces, I will then go through and install the jail doors. And then I have to lock and unlock jail doors every time they want to bring anything in and out of the cell. So that means we just need to wait. Wonderful workmen finish the job. Thinking it's time. Meantime, I'm going to open up a reform program, spiritual guidance. Oh, I need to adjust the regimen. Oh. Day, eat, yard, shower, work, eat, yard, shower, work, sleep, 5 hours. Get up, yard, shower, work. Work. No second shower. That was just fine right there. That should to aim for all of the specialty structures to be on the top here and all the cells on the bottom. That's kind of a good idea, I think. Yes, I think that's a good idea. Anyway, I'm going to end this episode here, and this is all I'll be playing today of Prison Architect. I plan to be switching to Minecraft on the Revengecraft server with Cheap Guy, Patolus, and Hoppy, or Appy, or whatever he prefers to be called today. Anyway, we shall be back momentarily. Good luck and good night. Unless you wish to stick around and enjoy me in a minute for Minecraft on the Revengecraft server.